check out Joe's latest article on the Iowa Wild. And Joe, just wanted to give you a chance to tease a little bit and give some context for fans who are just beside themselves that there's seemingly no change with a team that has very much disappointed and failed to develop.
Yeah, it's I did a story last year, kind of behind the scenes of just that was the first year with Brett McLean and trying to change the culture, and as a first year coach and trying to teach, and like I learned a lot just from that. They struggled last year, a lot of injuries last year as well, both sides, and it happened again this year. And so I think the question this time around was like, kind of what's the issue there? Like what's holding them back, and like how is it affecting the development of players, right? And I've always been interested in development, and the philosophies and everything like that. And I did a lot of work in Syracuse when I was in Tampa, and John Cooper always used to tell me, like, we thought the best way for prospects to develop was by winning, right? And that was a key to the foundation of their team, from the AHL team in Norfolk that won the championship and the record. And all of a sudden, a lot of those guys came up and played the playoffs with the Lightning. Not every team is the same. Not every development system is there. Not every guy's prospect pool is the same. But there seem to be, for as much as things that they do well in Iowa, they take care of their players, like food-wise, trading-wise, like travel, like they do a lot of things, that players are happy to play there and that they feel like they have the support overall. But there's still a disconnect, or there's still the lack of execution there, and the lack of results has to be a concern, I think, if you're a Wild fan or just Wild management as a whole, because eventually you have some of your top guys playing there. You have Jesper Wallstedt, your goalie of the future there. You have Liam Ogren, a really good player. You have Lambos, a first-round pick who's really been developing well the last year. That's a positive story. Hunter Haight, Riley Height's going to be there. Charlie Stramel will probably be there. Like you look at this place as a very important kind of place to marinate for these prospects. And I went there. I talked to McLean, talked to players. I talked to Matt Hendricks, their GM, to just the philosophy. And, the thought that Matt Hendricks said is not a mandate for them to win. Like obviously winning is important and you want to build winning habits, but, in their cycle of playing a lot of their kids and their prospects, it's almost like there's been a little sacrifice in winning because of the roster that they're putting out, or for whatever different reason. So it was just more of a philosophical argument and talking to different people there and scouts about the Iowa Wild and what they see. And that's a story that ran or posted Wednesday morning if people want to give it a look and see what they all think about it and what the players feel about it and what's the next steps. And but it'll clearly be an important start to the year next year for Iowa as more of the magnifying glasses on them.
For sure. Well, so you mentioned that article already out. Quick tease there. Anything coming up? I know Russo's covering the Eastern Conference Finals, but anything you or Mike have cooking that should be coming in the next week or two here for the Wild?
Well, we'll have more off-season primer stuff. We had the mailbag last week, covered a lot of different topics and questions that you guys had. But we'll do some more off-season primers of free agent targets and trade targets and what a Marco Rossi trade would look like. I have one coming up soon on the goalie tandem next year, Gustafsson and Wallstedt. Interesting dynamics the last couple of years with this being more of a partnership with Fleury, and Fleury being okay and being a number two and backup and really a mentor to Gus. And now Gus mentions it's kind of being like a rivalry again with Wallstedt coming up, and both of them obviously competing for the net. And it'll be an interesting dynamic to see, how much Gus learned from Flower, and maybe he can be a mentor to Wallstedt. And Wallstedt, seems as of now willing to be able to learn from Gus, watching him succeed in the NHL. So that'll be one thing to watch behind the scenes next year. I talked to them about it, and obviously talked to the goalie coach they have in Sweden about kind of who coached them both on how that might fit. So that'll be coming up in the next several days.